Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sree's daily global COVID-19 show. My name is Sree Sreenivasan, and it's my honor to convene this daily global conversation around all things COVID-19. We discuss three crises on this show: the health, financial, and racial inequality crises. We're always looking for guests, theme suggestions. Sree at Sree.net, SREE at SREE.net. Today, we have a special episode for you, episode number 139. That's right, we've been on the air for 139 straight days. We're going to talk about life-work balance instead of work-life balance. Our guest is Sabrina Cadini, at Sabrina Cadini, author of Life, Live Fully, holistic life coach, brain fitness coach, teaches life-work balance instead of work-life balance. She's joining us from San Diego, and she'll be with us in just a couple of minutes. We're live right now on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Hi, everybody. I'm Sree, and it's my pleasure to have you all with us today as we talk about all things to do with COVID-19, but our episode is focused on things to do with work. And at a time when there is unprecedented amounts of financial and economic pain, we wanted to bring on somebody who can talk about how to think about work and life and kind of an opportunity to reset that. So many of us have spent so much of our time having our work define us for a variety of reasons, either because we've lost our jobs or lost some of the time that we spent on jobs. We have a chance to kind of reevaluate everything, and we've got the right person to help you with that. Before we do that, we want to welcome everybody and say we're live on all these channels, so please tag your friends. You know someone who would benefit from being with us right now, from hearing this conversation, and from learning from our guest. Our show has had in its first 125 episodes more than 1 million viewers, 88 million social impressions, 234 guests from 48 cities and 13 countries, doctors, lawyers, engineers, nurses, CEOs, founders, teachers, professors. And we're able to do this because of our partnership with Scroll.in. Please check them out, one of India's leading news, analysis, and culture websites. And we're also able to do this because our fabulous team of producers, Rose Horowitz 31 on Twitter, at Rose Horowitz 31, and Vandana Menon, Vandana_Menon on Twitter. Please follow them. And please email me if you have ideas for speaker suggestions, sponsorships. We want to work with you. Sree at Sree.net. Speaking of sponsors, let's thank Muckrack Academy for Fundamentals of Social Media, a free certification course available right now. You get a free certificate for about 2 hours of work. More than 4,000 people have taken this class. mrac.co/social. mrac.co/social. And people share their certificates every day. It's great to see. We also want to say thank you to our friends at She's on Call. And here's their ad.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sujana Chandrasekhar. I'm an ear, nose, and throat surgeon in New York City and New Jersey.
And I'm Dr. Marina Kurian. I'm a general surgeon in New York City area.
We'd like to introduce you to our new show, She's on Call. We air live on social media platforms from 11 a.m. to noon every Sunday Eastern Time. We discuss the medical topics of the week.
We have two great guests, experts in their field, that help us analyze and look at some of the topical issues of healthcare. And we are on 11 to 12, so please join us.
We'd love to answer your questions, so please share and watch and send us your questions and comments.
See you Sundays at 11.
Hope you're watching She's on Call. Follow them, please, on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. And this past Sunday, they had an incredible show. Dr. Heather Kloss was here, infectious diseases professor at Temple. We had Dr. Sally Goza, president of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and Donna Mazik, registered nurse, executive director of the National Association of School Nurses. So very important conversation. Please go back and watch that. Please subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter to She's on call. And we have 2 more sponsors for you. We want to thank Nunbelievable, divinely delicious cookies on a mission. Each box of handcrafted cookies purchased provides 2 meals to those in need. Divinely delicious, Nunbelievable cookies, and use code SREE for 20% off. SREE for 20% off Nunbelievable cookies. And please check them out at nunbelievable.com. And we have one final ad for you.
Hotstar Premiere Nights. Watch the year's biggest blockbuster streaming straight to your screen, exclusively on Hotstar.
The new film Dil Bechara, starring the late Sushant Singh Rajput, with new music from Oscar winner A.R. Rahman. Streaming free on the platform right now on hotstar.com/US. Of course, it's subtitled. Someone asked about that. Please check out hotstar.com/US. And with that, we're ready to talk to our guest. Please tag your friends. Please hit share so that they can join us. Our special guest is here with us, Sabrina Cadini. And let me bring her on all the way from San Diego, California. Here she is. Hi, Sabrina.
Here I am. Hello, Sree. How are you? It was a long walk, but I'm here.
You are all the way from San Diego.
I know, right?
I'm delighted to have you here. Thank you for coming. And thank you for being with us. My first question always, how are you? Where are you in San Diego? And how's your family doing through this crisis?
Thank you. Yeah, everyone is safe and healthy. I am Italian, so I have most of my family in Italy, and my mother is in a hospice, and she got infected with COVID-19 a few months ago, but I don't know how, miraculously, she came out safe and alive, and she's still okay. So that was a big scare, and thankfully, we are all good. So thank you for asking.
Well, I remember doing early episodes of this. You know, we are on day number 139, your episode 139. When we started, Italy was the place we worried about. We thought that Italy was in deep trouble, which it was at the time. Talk about how Italy is doing, what you know about that. And again, my real apologies and best wishes to your mother. I hope she continues to do well.
Yeah, as you said, Italy was in a very bad shape a few months ago, and a couple of cities were basically the epicenter of the virus. And my family lives in Milan, which was impacted on the side at the beginning, but then Milan became one of the other centers of the virus. So it was a lot of scares. But again, as I said, my family is safe. I know that the cases are going down right now, so it is definitely much better than here in the US, but still they are registering some deaths, some cases. I mean, you know, Sree, we will need to live with this virus for a long time, and I mean, nothing we can really do, and we're here to just go through the flow and just look for, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. That's how I see it. I try to have a positive outlook and stay positive and think that we will make it. I mean, as everything that happened in our history, right? Human beings always made it. So
no, I'm glad to hear your positivity. And that's very helpful for folks as they are watching now. They may be worried and they're very concerned about everything that's happening. But we need that positivity. And we'll talk about that and the role the positivity plays in getting through these difficult times. First, we're going to do what we call our global tour. People are watching from around the world, and they're going to tell us where they're watching from. And they might ask a question or two now. So we'll get started. Please make sure that you have shared it with your channels. If you're watching, I know Sabrina already has. You know somebody in the world who would benefit from this conversation, so please tag them. My mom is watching from Kerala. Hi, Amma. Love you. Always great to have you here with me. You're always with me anyway, but now we're with you and the world. So thank you for being here. She's in Kerala. Have you been to India, Sabrina?
Never, but I would love to go. I heard so many great things about it, and it's definitely in my bucket list.
Love it. And we should tell everybody, if you're just joining, we're talking to Sabrina Cadini. She's at Sabrina Cadini, and our topic is life-work balance instead of work-life balance, which is the way Americans typically think. I think Italians, French, Scandinavians, for the most part, you think of life first, work second. Americans are obsessed with work, and that's part of why America does well, and also why America does badly in a lot of life indicators. So we'll talk more about that. Let's finish our tour. Our friend Tim Sohn is tagging a lot of friends, so I'm happy to see her. Look how many different people he has tagged. And Tim says that Sabrina is amazing. Recently had her on the Family First show. Hi, Sabrina. So everyone check out Tim's Family First show. And greetings to you and Rent a Fish, Sree. So he's talking about the Rent a Fish behind me. This is what happened, Sabrina, was that I was at my friend's apartment to do the studio work, and we were doing it from there. But then they're coming back, so now I've been relegated to a very tiny portion of my apartment. So this is my entire world. Is this box and this little bit of room that I have. So
it looks beautiful.
Thank you. And let's see who else is here. Jonathan Borstein is watching from Union Square. Your favorite memory of New York?
My favorite memory? Well, I visited New York a few times, probably 3 or 4 times. I love it because it reminds me of my hometown, which is Milan, very cosmopolitan city, a lot of style, great people dressing amazingly. But I remember it was always in the winter and it was freaking cold. I remember my nose was like frozen. But nevertheless, again, it's a magic city. I think that Paris and New York are my favorite cities for sure. I really love the style. And you know what I also love? The fast-paced rhythm, because like in Milan, we're always running. We always have something to do. I don't have time for this. I need to go to work on my goals, and I'm very focused on things. That's always what I got when I was in New York City, which is pretty much what I am, what I do. When I set on something, I need to go to the end of that problem, and I need to find the goal, and I need to go to the end of everything. Here in San Diego, completely different story. Probably the sun is a big factor, but here it's always like tomorrow, don't worry, let's take it easy and let's go to the beach. We'll think about that tomorrow. And I'm like, not me.
I grew up in Fiji for the first part of my life, and in Fiji is, the beach is always there. So imagine a place with 300 islands and about 600,000 people. So there's always a beach, and it was the same feeling. We can do it tomorrow. That's sort of the island style we call it. Yeah.
I think that's the sun. Also in Spain, all those southern countries, always this very low key and very slow paced lifestyle. So
yeah, I like that a lot. Amy says, I know Sabrina, Amy Aram.
Hi, Amy. So nice to see you.
Sujana is with us. Sujana is one of the doctors on that She's on Call show. And she says, boy, do I need remembering life is important, not just work. Here she is. She's a surgeon, very accomplished. She has a family with children, and she has her own TV show, and she helps produce the show. And she's so busy, and now she says she needs help remembering. So that's fascinating. And Makaran says, namaste from New York, here from Curry Hill, 139 episodes. And Tim is saying he also needs to remember that life is important. Mark is watching from Durham, North Carolina. Have you been?
Never, no.
How about any part of the South? You've been to Florida, Atlanta?
I've been in Florida, yeah, Atlanta. I've been in New Orleans very, very often. Yeah. When we moved to the States, my husband and I had a destination management company. So we were dealing with medical conventions. And so we were visiting cities with large conference centers for these medical conventions. So San Francisco, Orlando, Miami, New Orleans, Atlanta, what else? New York sometimes. What else? Dallas a lot of times. So yeah, we toured United States here and there.
One of the secrets of these conventions is they hold them in the summer, in very hot cities because they get a discount on the hotel room.
I know, right?
And we actually feel really bad for all those hotels that rely on tourists and conventions. So I'm always thinking about them. I myself, part of my business relies on speaker fees for my doing public talks. This year, I already gave up, several talks because of the way things are. But now I'm in the consulting business of where we do virtual events ourselves. And so people hire us for virtual events, including we're doing our first doctors conference in the fall. And so we're very honored to bring doctors together and make their conference do as well as they can. You know that there's nothing as good as an in-person conference, but there are some things that we can take and improve, and that's what we are working on at my company. And so I'm always excited to talk to people about that. So we should talk about doctors' conferences at another time. Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. Mark was also on my show about how to be an ally of African-American folks, and he gave us a lot of good ideas. Sudha Parekh is watching from Hastings on Hudson in Westchester, New York, just north of New York City. Paula Kiger is here. She's from Tallahassee, Florida, and she's been a great friend of not just this show, but she works with me on various projects, including what we call the New York Times read-along, where we read the New York Times out loud, sort of like crazy people, every Sunday morning. And this week, we read the New York Times out loud with our friend Anthony De Palma. And Anthony is the author is a New York Times writer and an author of a book on Cuba. And he's been at the New York Times for 22 years. So yesterday, 2 days ago, we read the New York Times out loud, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If anybody's interested, please join us so you can learn about another kind of project that we do where we love doing that kind of work. Let's see who else is with us. We have so many people checking in from various places. Let's see, I'm just trying to go past here. And Isra is watching from Brooklyn, New York. Hi, Isra. Great to have you here. Isra is a good friend and always great to see you. And she's one of the few people I know who was driving through to various parts of New York, or the U.S. during the pandemic. Some people feel really safe in their cars. Are you in San Diego? You have to drive, right?
Yeah, we have to drive. There are a lot. It's very spread out as a city, pretty much like Los Angeles. A little smaller, but still spread out. So yes, you need to have a car. Yeah.
And Tim says, glad you're here, Sabrina. We all need positivity. Nitin is watching from Dharamshala, is a town in India where the Dalai Lama lives. And he's a man of great positivity despite all the terrible things that have happened in his life. And the exiled Dalai Lama lives there with a lot of his people who all left, and they're successive generations of people all live there together. We have a Facebook user watching from Oakland, California. Welcome. And also we have someone watching, Anna's watching from Canberra, Australia. Have you been?
No, I haven't been in Australia either.
Okay.
One more country on my list.
Now you have friends in all these places, and that's
I know, right?
Please share this with your friends and family. And one of our guests says, I'm pleased with the fish are in the room. There you see my fish. The fish are getting airtime, says Mark. They need to get a shout out as to what their names are. So I have to make a confession. These are TV fish. Those are not real fish. That's a television and a screensaver on a television. At this distance and through the computer, it looks real. A lot of people have,
it does,
but it's the magic of television.
Yeah.
And Amy says, I love Milan, and I love Milan myself. I think it's awesome. And more references to the fish, more reference to the fish. Apollo is watching from Las Vegas. Have you been?
Las Vegas? Yes, many, many times.
Is there anything you're allowed to tell us about Vegas, about your adventures?
Vegas. You know, I love it because it has so much to do and so much to see, even though it's based on, gambling pretty much. But there's a lot to see, like the Grand Canyon, a lot of different things in the area. But one thing that I remember every time I go, after a couple of days, I need to leave because I always hear this ding, 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 always the noise of the slot machines that enter in my brain. And they become like an obsession. So yeah, that's all I can remember about Vegas, and a lot, very hot during the summer.
Apollo was on my
Super
episode about Las Vegas under COVID just a few weeks ago. All my shows are archived on our Facebook and our YouTube account, youtube.com/SreeNet. Please go and watch and please subscribe. And he talked about that Vegas has now moved beyond just gambling. There are other good things and other problematic things there as well. And we learned a lot from listening to him and my friend Terry Thompson talk. Mark says it's a laid-back environment here in North Carolina and a rich cultural environment. And Sujana is doing is cheering for the Neurotology Society meeting that I'm working with her and her colleagues for the conference. We're very excited. Mark says, we forget how hard it is on independent press because they often depend on the clubs and events for some of their finances. That's right, weekly publications especially. And Maheshwar is watching from Nepal. Hello and greetings. And I'm going to ask if you've been to Nepal, Sabrina.
No, not to Nepal.
And my friend Roy is watching from UNFPA Asia Pacific in Bangkok. How about Bangkok? You've been to Bangkok?
Nothing. I'm writing this down.
I didn't do this to make you feel bad. I just. But we love having this global audience. It's so much fun. And Nadine Ornstein is watching from a few blocks away. She's the head curator of paintings and of drawings and prints, at the Metropolitan Museum. And that is one of my favorite departments at the Met. And they have obviously a lot of Italian. I always say the Met is a love letter to Italy because there's so much great Italian art that is celebrated. Our friend Francesco Gennardi, who is the Consul General of Italy to New York, he lives right near, almost opposite to the Met. And we have a very strong relationship between the Met and the Italian consulate because of so much cultural exchange. Sujana says, was rushing from surgery to the office, took my first lift since March. Clean, nice New York City. She says, Mark says, Vegas is also very dusty. And lots of other comments coming in, and Keshav says hello. So let's talk about life-work balance versus work-life balance. Tell me how you came up with that concept of talking about it, why it matters, and what lessons we can have. In the meantime, I will also just show everyone your Twitter handle and your Twitter feed, but they can find you at Sabrina Cadini. Before we do that, I just want to show you, I have a hashtag called Sreetali because I do so much work. I love Italy so much. Obviously, the food, as you can see, this is from one of a fabulous restaurant ristorante in Rome. This was one meal and not all the elements of the meal. This is part of the elements of one.
Oh my goodness!
That we ate in Rome with so many of my dear friends there, including Gianni Riotta and Dennis Redmond and so many other folks. In this one photo, Diana Lee, who's right in front, is a New Yorker who has moved to Rome and teaching there in John Cabot University. We have. I also love this. This is how real Italian men break walnuts.
Yes.
No,
I love that.
No weak Indian men here. Look at that. Is how you break break walnuts. Look at that.
I love that.
This is our waiter at our restaurant was doing that. And
an Italian lesson.
Yeah. And look, tell us about this picture that you're seeing now.
Oh, this is the Duomo. It's such a fantastic historical monument, and it's one of the icons, I would say, of Milan. It is in the main piazza, and it's so beautiful. I mean, I have so many beautiful memories about the Duomo. It's like a Gothic cathedral, and I mean, I don't know if you have any pictures inside, but it's fantastic. It's breathtaking. And yeah, I think it's one of the icons that people recognize from Milan, together with the Galleria, which is right next to it. And it's such beautiful things.
This is from Venice, from an exhibition of Leonardo's work, and Leonardo was trying to walk on water all the way back in the 1400s. as you can see on this. A lot of us think he walks on water, but he was just
Mm,
he was trying to walk on water. And
yeah,
these are all my. You can see how many pictures I have of Italy.
absolutely.
This is when I went and I met my counterparts. When I was the chief digital officer of New York City, I met my counterpart in Rome. Her name is Roby Coco, and we did a cultural exchange between Rome and between Milano and in New York City. So that's that photograph that you see right there.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
So
let's
you said the hashtag is Sree Italy. So
no
I'll start
Sreetali,
following.
Sreetali.
Sree Italy. So I'll start following it.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
word. Yeah, we're always trying to talk about Italy and share stories about Italy because I love it so much. My family and I try to go. I try to go at least 2 to 3 times a year. I'm blessed to do that, and that was all ancient history, of course. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about your work. Here is your very upbeat Twitter page. You are a life upgrader. You have some degrees or certificates. Tell us what those are.
Yes.
CHLC.
Yes, so the CHLC, it's Certified Holistic Life Coach, and then Certified Brain Fitness Coach. But I rather call myself specialized in brain wellness because when people hear brain fitness, they think I am a personal trainer, but I am not. This is completely different. I work with clients to help them slow down aging in the brain, so brain wellness. So really work on prevention, and we'll be talking about that more in detail. How I came to the concept of life-work balance, I think it came pretty much by accident. And my previous career was in the event and wedding planning. And so I was a wedding planner back in the 80s. And then when I moved to the States, first with the destination management company, as I mentioned, and then after September 11th, notorious date, the business basically died, and I went back to events and weddings. And the job of an event planner, and particularly of a wedding planner, can be very stressful because of the emotional aspect of maybe family dynamics and so on. And so we work during the week planning the event, and then on the weekend during the event. So it can become a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. And I loved my job so much that I was giving full attention to my clients, but no attention to myself. And so I was prioritizing work, but not me. And being a workaholic and perfectionist was even worse because I would never stop working on the business. And in 2011, my body finally started to send me signals. I experienced burnout and then thankfully minor health issues. At that point, I knew that I needed to change the way I was working, but most importantly, I needed to change the way I was living. So my body and brain needed a break. And so after extensive research and seeing a lot of doctors who couldn't figure out what was wrong, I educated myself and learned about the body and mind connection, the gut-brain axis, and this was a huge eye-opener. I started to understand how our bodies are not programmed to be working and active every day and all night long. We need to rest in order to recharge. And so that's when I started to change my lifestyle by establishing 6 principles that I followed every day. So eating better, sleeping more, moving daily, stressing less, loving myself with self-care, and really upgrading my life with positive thinking, mindfulness, paying attention to time management, etc. And so I eventually created a system that incorporated all of these elements, and I established healthy habits that allowed me to achieve better goals faster, attract even better clients because I was more clear about my vision, and I became more profitable. I ultimately boosted my brand. I was more present. I was more focused. I was more in control of my life and of my business. And I can tell you, Sree, it was such an amazing feeling. And so this newfound knowledge inspired me to pursue a career in coaching because I knew that I could help others upgrade themselves and basically do what I did. Maybe people who were in my same situation, not necessarily in the event planning industry, but in different industries, and improve their lives and their businesses. So I became certified in holistic life coaching in 2013 and in brain fitness coaching in 2018. So today I help busy professionals adopt a healthier lifestyle, discover themselves, their lives, maximize their talents, their skills in their business by focusing on themselves as human beings first. So we put life first.
You put life first and then work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. First of all, it all sounds amazing, and I want everyone to hire you to help them, but we are going to give away some of your secrets here today. So tell me, I mean, we heard some of those secrets already, which a lot of people know, right? Sleep more, eat better, relax, turn your brain off a little bit. But
Yeah.
but what is the science behind this work of the brain? Why does the brain need that kind of rest in order to be more fresh?
Absolutely. Well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to become certified in brain fitness or brain wellness, because I was obsessed. I mean, the brain is such an amazing organ. It's a very complex organ, and I really, really love the way it works. I mean, if you think about it, this is what allows us to think, to take action. It shapes our personalities. I mean, there's so much about our brain. It's the center of our nervous system. It's responsible for pretty much everything that we do every single day, right? And taking care of our brain, even if we're still young, can help us age better and keep our cognitive performance at its best. And so the brain can age as we live, not only because it's part of aging, but also because we make the wrong choices. And we don't really notice the brain is aging until it's later in life. And when we see symptoms, that's usually too late, right? So people don't realize how much lifestyle, environment, and stress can play a huge role in the aging process. This is why I focus on prevention with my clients, to let them understand what they can do in order to slow down this aging. We all age, of course. I'm not saying that we will be immortal, right? But we can slow down this aging process. So what's behind the science? Basically, if every day we make choices, it can be the wrong foods, it can be staying in front of a TV all day long without moving, it can be sleeping just a few hours because we don't think we need to sleep, and I will just sleep maybe at the end of the week when I have more time. But you have to take care of yourself every single day. This is part of your lifestyle every single day. Otherwise, the brain can be affected by inflammation. And this is such a big topic that a lot of people don't realize. People think, oh, I know what inflammation is. I was just involved in a conversation on LinkedIn a few days ago. A guy was saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, because inflammation is where encephalitis happens in the brain. That's when the brain swells, and then you need medical attention. You're not a doctor. You cannot treat your clients for that. And I told him, of course not. I'm not talking about acute inflammation that needs medical intervention. That's not what I am. I'm not a doctor. I don't work with patients. I work with healthy individuals. The one that I'm talking is chronic inflammation, is the low-grade inflammation that starts accumulating with the wrong foods, with not moving, with not sleeping enough, with not taking care of yourself every single day. And in the long run, this can impact your brain, but not only the brain, also the body. You will start feeling like joint pain. You will start feeling depressed, tired, foggy, and a lot of different symptoms. And each one will have a different symptom, of course. But eventually, if you don't take care of yourself, this can lead to cardiovascular disease. It can lead to diabetes. It can lead to cancer. So you want to work today. It's never too late in order to slow down aging in your brain, but also in your body. And the way I see body and brain is they're both connected. They're part of a system. They're not two different entities. And together, they can be such a powerful ally in your life. Right. I hope that answers your question pretty much.
It does, and it's a very, very good answer, and something that I think about. Now, Tim is putting me on the spot. He says, Sree, do you ever turn off your brain? And I have to say the answer is I don't think so, except when I sleep. Yes. I'm so afraid of being alone and not thinking that I'm going to make a confession here, because my wife actually talked about this on Facebook. So we subscribe to a newspaper, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. In our shower, we have a shower, not a curtain, but a shower door. And I put my newspaper like this on top of the door. And during the shower, I read the print newspaper.
Fantastic.
No, I don't have to think. So am I doomed is my question to you, Sabrina Cadini.
Say it again.
So my question is, am I doomed because I'm doing that instead of relaxing?
Maybe not. I mean, it depends what you do during the day. Do you have time to maybe slow down and really basically, I don't know, spend a few times with just yourself, maybe even reading. I mean, reading is still a good activity.
Oh, good. Okay. Reading works. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and if you have maybe even a few minutes, people think that you need to dedicate the entire day. And of course, clients tell me, I don't have the time. I need to work. I need to pay my bills. I mean, you're asking me to just go outside and look at the birds and stay in the sun and enjoy life. That's not me. And I tell them, this is not what I'm saying. It's just little things that you can do throughout the day, even 5-10 minutes. You know, they don't have to change your life completely, but it's those little habits that your brain and body will enjoy, and they will thank you so much for that. So,
all right. Well, I'm hoping that that'll be okay. That'll count, even doing that. One of the Facebook users asked me, why didn't I ask Sabrina if you've been to Oakland? So have you been to Oakland in the Bay Area?
I've been to the Bay Area, but not Oakland.
Okay, so you have to go there next.
And
Amy remembers the Duomo and says that I've been there. So many pigeons.
True.
Jonathan says the Duomo is a major architectural landmark. In fact, one of the very first fights my wife and I had was that I lived on 113th Street in New York, near Columbia University, near St. John the Divine. It's considered one of the world's greatest and the largest Gothic cathedral, and that's what it's claim to fame. And she got so upset when I said that to her. You know, I was showing her New York, and I walked around and I showed her this, and she got so angry because she said, "You stupid Americans, you think you have everything that's the biggest, largest, etc. I know Duomo is bigger than that." So she got so angry at me. So she was defending the honor of Duomo when I was talking about Cathedral of St. John the Divine. It's an unfinished masterpiece on 113. I don't know if you've been there, but it's a beautiful cathedral.
Yeah, we heard about it.
Yeah, so that's my story. Rose says, "Ciao, Sabrina. So great to have you as a guest on the COVID-19 call. The world is so small. So great to connect with you again, tweeting live." So everybody, please follow Rose Horowitz 31. She has an amazing hashtag and movement she started called Women to Follow. Hashtag Women to Follow. And Sabrina is definitely a woman to follow. So please follow her. And apologize.
Rose.
Lovely. Someone threw a heavy plaster replica of the Duomo on Berlusconi's face. He needed reconstructive surgery. Is that true? I didn't.
Oh my goodness. You know, I met Berlusconi in person, and I told you behind the scenes before we started the show, I was modeling back in the 80s before moving here. And I was in his productions. You know that Berlusconi used to own some TV stations in Milan. And so I was in part of their production.
Right? Some of the biggest TV networks. And
Canale 5, Rete 4, Italia Uno. So those were all his broadcasting stations. And I was in some productions as like a dancer. I was like helping comedians. It was like different variety shows. It was such a fantastic time in my life. A lot of great memories. I met a lot of people. And so Berlusconi came one night to say hi to all of us. And of course, you know, he loves women. So he put us all in line. We were like 12. We were working on this production related to circus entertainment. So we had a lot of animals, but it was 10 of us, and he put us all in line. He was like shaking hands, and he was not looking at our eyes. He was looking a little down there. And we're like, that's Berlusconi, you know, it was hysterical. But yeah, he has been under the knife several times, I think. I mean, I've seen pictures recently, and he is unrecognizable, I would say. I mean, he's probably more than 80 years old now, right?
And I consider him a little bit like Trump, the same kind of background, showman,
Yes.
authoritarian figure, right? Conservative,
Same thing.
while having his own personal life is not conservative at all, right? Like
Exactly.
that's how he is.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, absolutely.
Rose is giving your Twitter handle at Sabrina Cadini on Twitter, and my mom says she loves the visits of my photographs of my Rome visit, and a lot
Was
more.
she with you? Did she travel with you? Or
Yes, when I was little, I got to travel with her. We lived in Moscow in the Soviet Union, so we got to go to Italy and had a great time. Nirmit says, Sabrina, Nirmit here from Charlotte. What's your view on suppressed anger? How can we address it? So suddenly we turn very serious.
I know, right?
I can understand suppressed anger, but is that a clinical term? And what does that mean? And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is something that I don't really take care of. This is something that probably more a psychologist or psychiatrist should do. And, a lot of people think that a coach can help in these cases, but there's a big difference between a coach and a therapist. So a therapist usually goes into the back to, the childhood, past memories, past experiences, and tries to figure out what triggered a specific situation or maybe a certain circumstance, like this anger that is repressed or suppressed. Maybe there was like a family situation, maybe parents or certain things that happened in the life previously. A coach usually starts from the present and works towards the future. So helps the client reach goals in the future. So I don't really care what you did in the past. I don't really know, and I'm not here to help you deal with the past, but I help you move forward from today to your final goal. So that's what a coach does. So suppressed anger is not something that I usually treat with my patients. I work more on the body and mind connection from I would say, a well-being point of view. I don't know if that makes sense, right? So I could say that I am a holistic life coach, which usually works with clients as a whole. So body, mind, and spirit. Spirit not as religion, but finding your true self and knowing what you want to do. And then I add neuroscience, I add epigenetics, which is a relatively new field, and we can talk about that. And I take a look at the human being as a biological thing. So eating, sleeping, moving, stress management, and so on. So I'm more on the well-being side.
So
right?
you're looking ahead, you said, and not looking as much back. I want to welcome everybody who's watching. We're in conversation with Sabrina Cadini. We already 40 minutes have gone by like that. I can't believe it. We only have 20 minutes left with her. I promised her about 45, 50 minutes, and already we're almost out of time, but she's going to stay, I know, because she's so kind to be with us. And we're talking to Sabrina. She's talking to us about life-work balance instead of work-life balance. And I knew I should not have mentioned my reading the newspaper in the shower, because suddenly everybody is talking about it. Mark is calling it multitasking. Rose is reporting what you said, reading in the New York Times shower. Sree says, Sabrina says, reading is still a good activity. And Vandana, our other producer, says, oh my God, I do something very similar. I'm constantly consuming information and feel weird that I'm not. Feel weird if I'm not. Mark says, I love just observing the world sometimes, and it levels me out, just sometimes observing nature. And Daryl says, scheduling downtime daily, weekly, monthly, and annually is essential for effective brain functioning. You must be deliberate about it. Thank you, Daryl. That is great advice. One of my colleagues is planning in October to take 4 days without electricity.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And to me, that is like a nightmare. I cannot imagine.
A torture.
Yeah, but we also should be very grateful, given everything happening in the world and so many people in so much trouble, that we're having a lighthearted moment here, because if we did not laugh, we would be crying with so much pain in the world. How do you deal with that when you talk about, brain fitness and a holistic life approach? When there's so much pain, how can you be positive? You're being very positive. I noticed that. So talk about that, please.
Yes, absolutely. And this is a big part of my coaching practice. And this is what clients love to see in me, because they really are uplifted when I talk to them. They call me their cheerleader, because I really help them take a look at the positive side of things, and sometimes it's impossible. It seems really impossible to see them, but there's always a learning experience that can show you something that can be an opportunity. That could be the opportunity for change, opportunity for renewal, opportunity to find something new to pursue in your career, in your personal life. I mean, whatever the purpose is. And yes, I mean, I think that positivity, especially in these challenging times, is definitely helpful for your mental health. Because as I was saying at the beginning, I mean, this is something that we cannot control. I usually ask clients, try to make a list of things that you can control. So you have the ability to change the course of things, and things that you cannot control. So these are usually COVID-19, or maybe something that is triggered or caused by family members or friends or things at work. So sometimes you don't have the ability to change the course of these things, but you always have to be focused and centered on yourself. Are you safe? Are you healthy? Are you happy? Even if you don't feel you're happy, you are a little happy. So try to find that little teeny tiny happiness inside you. It can be your dog. It can be a drawing of your son that is presenting to you. Look, Dad, look, Mom, what I've done today. This is pure happiness. It does probably last 2 seconds, but it's happiness. So if you focus on the positive things that happen to you during the day, you can see the world in a different light. And I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but if you start thinking about it, it makes a huge difference in your daily life, and it can make a big change. So positivity, absolutely. Even if it's very difficult, it's very important.
Thank you. People are still talking about my reading the New York Times in the shower. So here she says, reading the New York Times in the bathroom. Now, that's not unusual. People read in the bathroom, but reading the New York Times in the shower, that's...
I've never heard about it. Yeah, this is like a little multitasking to me, right? So you're showering and then reading, so you're putting two things together.
Right, but my wife says it's because I'm afraid to be alone with my thoughts.
Mm. But it's not bad to be alone with your thoughts sometimes. That's when a lot of ideas can come. I mean, you have such great ideas, and I don't know if you ever stop, because again, you do so much. But 5 minutes a day is good to be with your thoughts.
That's
yes.
great.
Yes.
Mark says, I just found out some totally useless information today. Apparently the Queen of England owns thousands of a certain animal. Wonder if Sree can guess what animal it is. It's not a corgi. I mean, yes, she has lots of corgis, but not thousands of corgis. It must be like deer or horses, because she has a lot of land. So that's my guess. Or sheep? What's your guess?
Probably. I was thinking about little things like ants. I don't know, in her garden. I don't know. Something, ridiculous.
Well, so you were thinking it's a trick question. Okay, we'll find out the answer. I'm sure he'll tell us. And Jonathan says St. John the Divine is known as St. John the Unfinished among architecture buffs. And people are just tagging the other friends. And Somnath says good morning. And Rose says Sabrina and I have known each other through Women to Follow and through other group divas. Then Madeline Sklar asked me to be on her Twitter Smarter show in January, and poof, Sabrina was helping with her show. Now I get to hear about this mind-body system. Here is an interesting difference defined between a coach and a therapist. But of course, until one comes to terms with the past and the foundation that's created the present, it's challenging to move ahead as well. So talk about that. So someone's kind of pushing at you a little bit, saying, how can you really move forward if you don't look back and acknowledge the past?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, actually. And I'm glad we are talking about that. So as I said at the beginning, I don't usually work with patients. I work with healthy individuals. So I don't work with depressed people, or better yet, I work with people who think they are depressed because of their job, because they don't have, the ability to live life. They're not happy. Life sucks. They have a lot of problems. So I'm depressed. So I try to ask them and take a look at their lives from a different point of view. So I asked them, why are you depressed? What is causing this depression? Could it be that maybe you don't find enough time in your life? If so, we can find a way. Maybe you are eating a lot of sugar that is causing your brain to shut down pretty much, and it raises inflammation. Might be. So let's take a look at maybe some diet interventions and see if that can give you a little more serotonin, a little more happiness in life. Maybe you don't move enough, and movement increases blood flow to the brain. So let's try and see if you can move a little bit. So again, I am not a doctor and I don't claim to be, but I know that working on your biology, you can make a lot of changes. And so if someone is stuck in their lives or in their business, it could be that they're not taking care of themselves. And if you don't take care of them or yourself first, you cannot take care of others. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but pretty much this is my opinion. So I don't think that if you don't know what the past is, you cannot move ahead. There are different things that you can do starting today and really have a better future tomorrow.
Folks, if you're watching right now, live or recorded, please tag your friends. Please hit share on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on LinkedIn. You know somebody who could benefit from Sabrina. Please check her out, SabrinaCadini.com and at Sabrina Cadini. Well, one of the things that I wanted to ask you is I come, as you know, from India, where in India, we don't talk about our feelings. We don't reflect. We don't think much generally. Psychotherapy, psychology, shrinks, all of that are not that common. They are there, of course. In India, everything is there. But what is it like in Italy? Are Italians self-inspecting? Do they have a lot of coaching, a lot of therapists, a lot of help like that? Or you're shaking your head? No, that's like,
yeah, no.
Is that right?
No, not at all. That was culture shock for me when I moved to United States, because a lot of my friends were like, oh, I'm going to my therapist. And I'm like, to do what? I had no idea. And she was, oh, I have some problems with my son. I have some problems, with my life. I'm like, don't you think friends can help you deal with that? So yeah, definitely Italy, the same thing. Yeah, we usually try to fix things on our own with family, with friends, with the help of people. So same thing.
Here's a question that's come in. Can Sabrina share a couple of transformative stories that she's helped bring about, but which also changed or made a deep impression on her? So you helped somebody, but it also changed you. In helping somebody, it also helped you. Maybe that's the question there.
Absolutely. And that's an excellent point as well, because coaches grow with their clients. Again, this is another difference between coaches and therapists. I mean, coaches help clients to transform their lives, to change. So we usually ask a lot of questions and we stimulate our clients to think about ways and solutions and opportunities to change and transform. So basically, we are, as I was saying, cheerleaders, encouraging our clients to find what's best in themselves and take action by moving forward and find the solutions to reach their goals. And we grow with them. Sometimes, our clients give us great ideas that we think, that would be great for me as well. So just to give a couple of examples there, because I know that someone was asking for some stories. I had a client very recently who came to me because she wanted to improve her self-image. She was very self-conscious and she wanted to lose weight. And at the beginning, I said, I don't know if I can help you because I am not a dietitian. I am not a nutritionist, so I cannot help you to lose weight with a diet. I don't personally believe in diets because they're not sustainable. They only target one particular area and you cannot be on a diet forever. And so I don't really know much about you. We should do a lot of testing to see, to work on an individualized approach. So I don't know if I can help you. What I can do though, is to improve the way you think about yourself. I can change the way you live your daily life. And I am pretty sure that weight loss will come as a result. And so she was pretty skeptical, I would say. And she was like, yeah, you're right. If you're not a dietitian or a nutritionist, how can you help me? And I told her, we will work on different habits that you can change. Because from what you told me, you work a lot, you don't have time for yourself, you eat whatever is convenient, you don't have time to cook because you don't like to be in the kitchen, you don't even know what food is for you, what food brings to you. So how can you think about losing weight if you don't know what you're eating, what you are putting in your body? I mean, food is our fuel, is our source of energy, but it's also information for our genes. It's information for our muscles, for our organs, for our cells. So there's so much about food. And when you think about food as a type of nourishment for your body, and that it can change your body, it can make it stronger, better, healthier, then something happens in your brain as well. So you focus on the right foods for you, and that will help you lose weight. If you sleep more, you will lose weight, because our sleep cycle, our circadian rhythm, which is our biological clock, is involved with so many hormones and so many different mechanisms in our body. And one of these is involved in eating. So there are two hormones. One is called leptin. The other one is called ghrelin. Ghrelin is the hormone that makes you hungry. Leptin is the hormone that tells you, stop, I'm full. And so when you don't sleep enough, these hormones basically flip. And so you tend to eat more during the day. So you have more ghrelin and less leptin. So you will feel less full, but you will be hungrier. And so, see, there are so many different things. And then she said, well, I don't move enough. Maybe I should exercise more. And I told her, yes, exercise is definitely good, but it has to be in combination of other things. You cannot exercise and eat bad. You will not achieve the goal of weight loss. So we worked together for 6 months, and I worked with her on my signature program, which was Life Work Balance. And she was 210 pounds. And at the end of the program, she was 162, 40 pounds. It was amazing. And she couldn't believe her eyes. And she couldn't believe that, with the program that we did, by adopting little habits, little by little, every week, she was able to lose weight by focusing more on her well-being, on thinking how nutrition, sleep, movement, and time for herself, self-care, taking care of stress. She was very stressed out. All this was a huge benefit for her weight loss, and she made it, and she was so happy. So, I mean, that's just an example to show how body and brain are connected. And what you do, like, I eat healthy, but I drink a lot. That doesn't help. I don't sleep enough because I work a lot, but I'm very careful to what I eat. That's not enough. So you have to apply different aspects to your body and to your brain in order to be healthier and better well-being. And Sree, we may be the most evolved and sophisticated species, and we depend on our planet 100%. The air we breathe, the water we drink, the food, the soil that gives us the foods we eat, the sunlight that boosts our immunity and regulates our circadian rhythm. So we need to respect our basic needs as human beings. Even if we are, again, very sophisticated, the most evolved species, we are still animals, and we still need to respect our needs: nutrition, movement, rest. This is basics, so important. And people forgot that, because in today's society, we are about being busy, working. Us, last in the list.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Joe says hello from outside Atlanta, Georgia. Have you been to Atlanta?
Yes, many times. I love it.
Okay, good. Apollo says, I meditate all day. It's getting ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
Can you meditate too much? Can you be relaxed too much?
Maybe too much, too relaxed, right? When do you work?
Can you be too positive? Cherry says, hi, positivity is what is required now in COVID times. And Jonathan's mentioning swans. I forget what the connection is, but...
the queen.
That's right. She owns the swans. That's right. Let's see if that's the answer.
Okay.
It was the answer on a Trivia Genius, an online game. So Jonathan says that the Queen owns 95% of all the swans in Britain. See, I'd already forgotten what this was. Tells you my brain is not working. Nirja says, in India, there's a stigma attached to mental illness.
Yeah.
Well, but but that's interesting because Nirja went directly to mental illness as the issue. We were just saying mental self-examination, but we don't even talk about that in India as much as we should, and that's
same in Italy. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. I think Italy also has a kind of macho culture, right? India also among men, especially men, find it very hard. Daryl says nowadays in India, there's a lot of changing through TV shows. So many shows are leading the thinking with regard to examining emotions.
Nice.
So, Tim wants to know, how long did you work with that store lady in the example?
6 months.
Okay, nice. 40 pounds in 6 months. You'd make a living, a very good living if you can do
I know, right?
And look at this. Everyone is examining me and my situation and giving me free advice. I think you need more sleep. I think you are right. I have found in all my travels, I've only found one other friend who doesn't sleep or sleeps as badly as me. And I think a lot of it for a lot of people also has to do with this. When it's the first thing we touch and the last thing we touch. Ariana Huffington, who you know, she puts the phone on outside the bedroom on another floor to just not touch it between certain hours, and you sleep much better, she says, in what you do. So what is your own way to stay off the phone?
Great question. And it's a love and hate relationship because I love technology and I would be with my phone all day long, but I set boundaries because I know that between, technology and blue light and EMFs, which is the electromagnetic, radiation, it can have negative effects on our health. So yes, I sleep with my phone in the bedroom, but I put it on airplane mode. So at least it turns off the transceiver. So at least we don't have too much going on. And I can still use it as an alarm clock because, even if it's on airplane mode, that works. But yeah, usually after 8:30, 9 p.m., I don't look at the phone. That's it. It's like off limits.
That's amazing. Good for you. So you only have an hour and a half after this because it's 10 p.m. here at 7 p.m. for you. So before we let you go, can you tell me a little bit about your routine? How much exercise do you get? How much reading time do you get? I mean, partly what I'm asking is, do you follow your own advice, the advice you give all your clients? Sometimes you meet a doctor who smokes, who says, do not smoke, and then they're smoking. I sometimes tell people I'm like that. Of course, I don't smoke, but I tell people, stay off your phone, stay off your technology, get more sleep, relax a little more. I don't listen. So maybe you're a better client of yourself than I am.
Of course. Yeah, no, I try to be very religious about my principles because otherwise I know that my health will be impacted negatively. So I can tell you like my average day, just to give you an idea of what I do. I usually wake up between like 7:15, something like that. And the first thing I do is meditation or just think about, what will be happening in my thoughts. Of course, what I want the day to be like. Phone is off limits still, no phone until shower, breakfast. I usually spend some time outdoors. So I do either some walking, like brisk walking or jogging. I try to stay in nature, take some sunlight, which is a great source of vitamin D. And again, a great regulator for your sleep cycle. A lot of people don't realize that, but sun in the morning can help you with melatonin release in the night. So if you have sleep issues, staying outside in the morning can help you sleep better. And then after, again, taking care of myself, so shower, breakfast, just little exercise or, some sunlight while I have breakfast outside, then I start taking a look at emails, checking social media. I work for a few hours and then I take breaks every hour. So every hour I stand up, I take like walks or I do something in the house. I work from home, but I don't check my phone. I'm not checking social media or anything. So breaks are totally separate from technology. Play with my cat a little. And then lunchtime between 12 and 1, something like that. And then I go back to work, taking breaks. And every couple of hours I take longer breaks, like 20, 25 minutes. And then in the afternoon, around 5, something like that, I take some time for myself. It could be more meditation. It could be hanging out with friends. And now with COVID, it's impossible to meet in person, but we can do some hangout on Zoom or Skype or something like that. So I try to stay connected with my network and my connections and family, etc. And then we have dinner. So I love cooking. I love being in the kitchen. And so I always try to find new recipes. And my favorite challenge is to find recipes and substitute ingredients with healthier choices. So that's a little exercise that I love doing. And then after dinner, maybe some TV, but I'm not a big TV person. I rediscovered the joy of knitting. Now I sound like an old lady, but it's so relaxing to me. Reading, again, playing with my cat. Our son lives with us, so we can have conversation. Again, something that is very family oriented. And then nighttime between 11:30, something like that. I read some, and that's it. Ready for another day.
That's incredible. It sounds full, but also sounds very relaxed. Remind us what time you check your email for the first time in the morning.
It's probably around 9, something like that. And I don't check emails throughout the day. I do it probably a couple of times a day. I'm not constantly on my emails, you know. So
we have thousands of people who watch the show. I want to see if anybody else gives up their phone at 8:30 p.m. and doesn't touch their email till 9 a.m. the next day. So 12 hours. Let's see a challenge. Let's see in the replays or anywhere else. Does anybody come close to 12 hours, no phone at night, in the morning? Somebody who has a very, technology-oriented job where you have to keep in touch with clients, you have to do digital, social, Instagram, everything. That's pretty amazing that you do that. So I salute you for being able to do it. I say all of this out of jealousy more than anything else that you're able to do it. We're looking at your Instagram. Please follow her at Sabrina Cadini. That's how to find her at all of these. Look, she's already put our promo card there, and there are her photos and all the different things. Oh, there's Tim Sohn. Very nice.
Yes, I was. Yeah, he was my guest too.
Yeah.
And you know what you were saying, Sree, of course, it's challenging because, we live in an era where technology reigns, I would say. But, I'm all about using technology with a healthier approach. Use technology to your advantage. Don't become a victim of it. And of course, I'm not one who posts 5, 6, 10 times a day on my social media because I don't have the time. But I'd rather focus on quality than quantity. So maybe I post like twice a week, but my audience appreciates that because they say you're not bombarding us with posts. And so our feed is a little cleaner. And so we have time to read your posts. And actually my clients love that because it's more mindful. It's more respectful for them. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
You have to tell us about your cat because you mentioned her multiple times. She's on your Twitter feed. She's on your Instagram.
Yes.
Tell us about her.
Yes. My cat actually is a huge teacher, I would say. And she is my muse in the book that I just finished writing months ago, because I think that cats or pets in general have this way of living, which is very basic, of course, and it's true to their nature. And this is a huge teaching, a learning experience for us. So we should probably start living more respecting ourselves as human beings. That's coming back to the life-work balance concept. You have to focus on yourself first. When you take care of yourself first, you can achieve so much more in life and in business. And sometimes a business fails because you were not able to take care of yourself first. It's not only because you didn't have the time, you didn't know what to do, you didn't have financial resources, you were not advised correctly. It's because maybe you were not focused, you're not present, and you were not healthy. As simple as that. So again, cats or pets in general can teach us a lot about taking life in a different way. I remember there was an illustration that I saw somewhere on the internet, and it showed this guy who was walking. It was a drawing, guy walking in this beautiful path in nature with trees, birds singing, the sun, beautiful plants. He was walking, and there was a bubble on his head with money, house, paying bills, problems in the workplace, and then a dog walking next to him, and his bubble had the sun, the birds, the plants, the beautiful sky. So that's, they live in the moment. And of course, we cannot do it all the time. But if we had the ability to stop and take a break for a little while during the day, I can assure you that things are much better and you can function even better because you give your body and brain a little time to reset, like a reset button. And then you're able to go back to what you were doing in a better way. You'll be more productive because you will be more rested and you will finish your projects in less time. So you have more time for yourself. Win-win situation, right?
It's awesome. Martin says, so many people are working at home due to COVID. How do you feel about daytime napping? Is meditation better than daytime napping? Is it a stress reliever or does it mess up your nighttime sleep?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. A lot of clients ask me the same question. So napping, why not? Definitely. But according to science, it should be within the 20, 25, 30-minute max, because otherwise you enter the deeper cycle of sleep. And then when you wake up, you feel grumpy because you interrupt the whole cycle of sleep. So if you keep it down to about 20 minutes, you stay in a lighter cycle of sleep, which gives you a little rejuvenation, a little, resting state, which is great. If you want to take a little break during the day, absolutely, why not? But meditation also a great stress reliever.
Yeah, I think this is a very useful thing to think about. Tim says, so many useful nuggets on the show. So grateful I met you through the Tim and Jim show and in person at the Social Media Marketing World, Sabrina.
Yeah.
And Tim says, will you be implementing breaks and 2 posts a week? Unfortunately, the answer is no, Tim.
No.
And Jonathan says, I love a siesta. Jonathan has not taken a break. He's watched 139 episodes of the show. So Jonathan is a hero of mine and
good job.
A good guy for being here and sharing all of this with us. Before you go, I want to show you, you mentioned your mom at the beginning. So I want to show this picture of your mom. And this is in New Year's Eve, 2000. Talk about her and talk about your father who passed away in 2000, just a few months earlier. And it was very meaningful for you to have her visit you in San Diego. So please talk about that experience and say hi to your family for me also, please.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, as you probably imagine, I mean, Italians love families, right? We're always so close. And when we still lived in Italy, we were very close to our families. And so I had this deep, deep love for my mother. We were very close. And when my grandfather was still alive, we would always get together during every summer vacation, holiday vacation, Christmas time, Easter. I mean, we would always be together. And my parents only visited twice since we moved to the United States. And so for me, it was very difficult to be far from them because, again, Italy is not behind the corner. So it's a long flight. And we were able to fly there like once a year when our son was little. But then recently, we were not able to travel that often. And my mom was getting older, so she was not able to fly here. So I remember that that picture that you found on my feed, it's actually it was not the last visit that she did here, but it was the New Year's Eve. So it was the first year without my father. And she and my father were very, very close. So I was blessed to spend New Year's Eve with her here in San Diego. My brother also joined us. And it was beautiful because, again, I felt, I tried to share as much love as I could and tried to let her feel not alone, because I remember when my father died, she said, part of my life has died with him. And that broke my heart. It was so, so sad. But I was very happy that she was able to come visit us. And we had a great time. Life is made of little moments. People think that you must be happier all the time. It doesn't matter. It can be like 2 seconds and you can keep that memory in your heart forever. And it brightens your heart. I mean, this is how I feel, and this is how I work with my clients as well. Make happiness like little teeny tiny pieces of your daily life, and that can make a big change in your life.
Well, on that note, we want to say goodbye to you, to thank you. I presume you still have to eat dinner. And,
yes.
madly look at your phone so that you can put it away at 7:30. It's now almost 7:15 or 8 o'clock. You have another hour with your phone. So we want to thank you very much. Our friend and guest has been Sabrina Cadini, joining us all the way from San Diego. And we hope to see her in New York or on another trip to San Diego. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your energy, your time, your positivity, your insights. We're very grateful to you. And everybody, please find her on Sabrina Cadini on Twitter, at Sabrina Cadini on Instagram, and on her website, sabrinacadini.com. So thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Truly honored. Thank you. Bye.
That was amazing. The hour flew by. An hour and 15 minutes went by so quickly. I want to tell you about our guest tomorrow and what we're doing tomorrow. We're doing an early show. The show is at noon Eastern. Whenever we have a guest from Europe, we have a guest from Geneva tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about digital diplomacy with Matthias Lufkins, who's the founder of Twiplomacy and social media architect at BCW Global. You will meet one of the world's top analysts of digital diplomacy, and he'll discuss his reports on how world leaders use social media. How does Donald Trump compare to Narendra Modi, compared to Boris Johnson, compared to any other leader in the world? You can learn all of that on this show tomorrow at episode number 140. If you're watching later, if you're watching live right now, it's on Wednesday at noon Eastern time, which is 6 p.m. in Geneva, 9:30 p.m. That's not 6:30. That's incorrect. It's 9:30 p.m. in India. So we hope you will join us for that. Before we go, we do one thing on our show every single day that comes as a result of our talking to the great Kimberly Crenshaw, the person who coined the term intersectionality. And we asked her, what can we do as allies to help African-American folks? And she said, say their names, or say her name. And we've been doing that through using this amazingly haunting picture and cover from Time Magazine by Titus Kaffer. And you see a picture of a young George Floyd with his mother, Larcinia. She would be killed. She would die. I'm so sorry. She would die almost 2 years to the day before he would be killed in Minneapolis, and now they're buried together in Houston. But today, after several of our readers, as we've been doing recently, went out and found the Say Her Name report and asked us to use this instead. As I read these names, think how many of these names you've heard. How many of these stories do you know? Breonna Taylor, killed by police in her bed on March 13th, 2020. Tatiana Jefferson, Charlena Siobhan Lyles, Corin Gaines, India Kager, Sandra Bland, Alexia Christian, Maya Hall, Megan Hockaday, Janisha Fonville, Natasha McKenna, Tanisha Anderson, Aura Rosser, Shanique Proctor, Michelle Cousseau, Pearlie Golden, Gabriela Navarez, Yvette Smith, Renisha McBride. Just ask yourself, how many of these stories, how many names have you heard even? Mariam Carey, Chaim Livingston, Kayla Moore, Shelley Fry, Melissa Williams, Shulena Weldon, Alicia Thomas, Chantel Davis, Charmel Edwards, Rekia Boyd, Cherise Francis, Ayana Stanley Jones, Tarika Wilson, Catherine Johnston, Alberta Spruill, Kendra James, Latanya Haggerty, Margaret Laverne Mitchell, Taisha Miller, Danette Daniels, Frankie Ann Perkins, Sanji Taylor, and Eleanor Bumpers. Thank you for joining me as I read those names. As I've said many times on the show, I'm the son-in-law of a police officer, a police chief in India. And I have friends who are police officers in the NYPD and elsewhere. And I've had students who were former police officers. We hold the police to a higher standard. This is not about the guilt or innocence of any of these people who are killed in police violence. It's about the fact that the police don't have the right to be judge, jury, and executioner. Everything has a place in the criminal justice system, and that's where this should all be resolved. And that's why we're covering things like what's happening in Portland. We did 2 episodes on 2 successive Mondays. Please go into our archives and check them out. This was the episode yesterday. Randall Wyatt, a musician and activist, and someone who's building wealth for African Americans by letting them own their own homes, was with us. Beth Nakamura, photojournalist from the Oregonian, who's been covering day in and day out as federal troops go in and do serious damage to peaceful protesters. And Bernie Foster, publisher of The Scanner, the leading Black regional newspaper. It was fascinating to hear them and to learn so much. We've got a lot going on and a lot coming up. We are going to talk next Monday about fighting hate during COVID. Jennifer Lazarus, my colleague at Digimentors, will be here with Oren Siegel, the vice president of the Center on Extremism, and a leading and part of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. And then on Friday, real treat, Mayor Sean Strub will be here, AIDS activist, and a co-host will be Jonathan Borstein. Sean Strub is the mayor of Milford, Pennsylvania, author of Body Counts, a memoir of politics, sex, AIDS, and survival, founder of Pause Magazine, executive director of the Zero Project, and in 1990 became the first openly HIV positive candidate to run for federal office. Be a fascinating evening on Friday. Please join us for that. My name is Sree Sreenivasan. I'm the Marshall Loeb Visiting Professor of Digital Innovation at Stony Brook School of Journalism and the co-founder of Digimentors, a social, digital, and virtual events consulting business. Our motto, do not cancel your event without talking to us. Don't make it virtual without talking to us. We do dozens of events every single week, and we learn a lot, and we want to work with you, and we want to help you. My email is right there. You'll see on the screen, sree@sree.net. Please check us out, and please contact us. We want to thank our sponsors for making all this possible. Our friends Muckrack Academy, that made it possible for me to give you a free certification course, mrac.co/social, mrac.co/social. More than 4,000 people have taken that course. We want to tell you about She's on Call, a show that runs on Sundays from 11 a.m. And this past week, we had a fantastic show. Please join us for future episodes. But again, go to She's on Call on Facebook or Twitter to look at that. And also want to recommend one of our sponsors, nunbelievable.com, divinely delicious cookies on a mission. Each box of handcrafted cookies provides 2 meals to those in need. 20% off with the code SREE, SREE. Please share that with your friends and get them to taste it and take a look. And our final ad.
Hotstar Premiere Nights. Watch the year's biggest blockbuster streaming straight to your screen, exclusively on Hotstar.
Check out hotstar.com/US, hotstar.com/US. And we're so grateful to everyone for being here, for supporting us. We're looking for guests. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for theme ideas. And here are some of the final comments I'll show you. Rose Horowitz says, thank you, Sabrina. So many great ideas. I'll have to watch the show again to take more notes and put your ideas into action. Check out Rose's great tweets. Rose Horowitz 31. Apollo says, thank you. Apollo says, thank you, Sree, Vandana, and Rose and team. And we have so many great comments coming in. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I do want to show everyone a quick way of keeping in touch with us and knowing when we're live. We're coming up on our 150th episode. Tomorrow will be 140, so 11 days away. We're counting down to 150. You know, we always have a great show when we have our anniversary shows, our special milestone shows. So we want to show you one way where you can keep up with us and what we're doing. That's our WhatsApp code to get an alert. You sign up for an alert. This is not yet another WhatsApp group. You may not want to be on one, but you will want to be on this. It's just a gentle reminder when we are live. So please check us out on WhatsApp, just hold up your phone right now and use the QR code, or just write to me and I'll help you find it. Thanks very much, everybody.